Doctor, thank you kindly for taking care of my sisters. I hope you will excuse me for intruding upon Rhodes Island for a little while. Please call me Chongyue. Battles we have fought, death we have braved. Doctor, no need to say more.
My equipment is ready. We can start anytime.
Warriors from afar rest scarce. The armor they wear spurs them to march.
Commence treatment.
Many intellectuals must join a battle before penning a decent verse. Including that, after all this time, you still tend to war for solutions.
Every look you take has...
Strike! And sunder the tides cleft. Retract and leave no... Strike! And sunder the tides cleft. With unsteady posture, wavering intent, much to learn yet. At your command. At your command. After all this time, you still tend to war for solutions. 1,000 moves in one breath. After all this time, strike! And sunder the tide. After all this time, you still tend to war for solutions. After all this time, you still tend to war. Strike! And sunder the tides cleft. Strike! And sunder the tides cleft. Retract and leave no... After all this time, you still tend to war for solutions. 1,000 moves in one breath. Unsteady posture, wavering in... Strike! And sunder the 1,000 moves in one breath. Strike! Unsteady posture, wavering in... Strike! And 1,000 moves in one breath. After all this time, you still 1,000 moves in one breath.
My equipment is ready. We can start anytime.
One should spot 1,000 moves in one breath.
Commence treatment.
At your command. After all this time, you still tend to war for solutions. At your command. Unsteady posture, wavering intent, much to learn yet.
Medical equipment set.
At your command. One should spot after all this time, you still tend to war for solutions. One should spar, strike, and sunder the strike, and sunder the strike, and sunder the tides cleft. Retract and leave no. After all this time, unsteady posture, wavering intent. After all this time, 1,000 moves in one. After all this time, 1,000 moves in one breath. After all this time, after all this time, you unsteady posture, wavering in strike, and sunder the.
ついてきて。はぐれないように気をつけてね。
I'll do my best to keep everyone safe.
I have a visual.
One should unsteady posture, wavering intent, much to learn yet. One should strike and sunder the tides cleft. track unsteady posture, wavering intent, much to learn yet. At your command, after all this time, you still tend to war for solutions. After all this time, you still 1,000 moves in one breath, 1,000 moves in one breath. Unsteady posture, wait, strike, and sunder the unsteady posture, wavering intent. Much warriors from afar rest scarce. The armor they wear spurs them to march. Unsteady posture, wavering intent, much to learn yet. 1,000 moves in one breath. Unsteady posture, wavering in unsteady posture. Wait, after all this time, you 1,000 moves in one, 1,000 moves in one unsteady posture, wavering intent, unsteady posture, wavering intent, unsteady posture, wavering intent. After all this time, you still tend to unsteady posture, wavering in. After all this time, you strike and sunder the unsteady posture, wavering in unsteady posture. Wait, strike and sunder the unsteady posture. Wave, strike, and after all this time, strike, and after all this time, after all this time, 1,000 moves, and after all this time, 1,000 moves in one. After all this time, you still tend to war.
My equipment is ready. We can start anytime.
Warriors from afar rest scarce. The armor they wear spurs them to march. Many intellectuals must join a battle before penning a decent verse, including that sister of mine. This too, after all this time, you still tend to war for solutions. One should spar from at your strike and sunder the tides heft, retract, and leave no peace bereft. One should 1,000 moves in one breath. I can handle this. One should unsteady posture, wavering intent, much to learn yet.
You can do this. Here.
Strike and sunder the tight, unsteady posture, wavering in 1,000 moves in one breath. 1,000 moves in one breath. Strike and sunder the tight,
Dominating.
unsteady posture, wavering intent.
I don't have the leisure for enemy intel at the moment. Taking care of our operators has already occupied my whole schedule.
1,000 moves in one breath. Strike and sunder the unsteady posture. Wait, after all this time, you still strike and 1,000 moves in one breath. Unsteady posture, wavering intent. 1,000 moves in one. After all this time, you still tend to war for solutions.
Don't worry. I'm here with you.
Strike and sunder the tides heft. Unsteady posture, wavering in. Strike and sunder the strike and sunder the tides heft. Strike and unsteady posture, wavering in. Strike and sunder the 1,000 moves in one. Strike and sunder the tides heft. 1,000 moves in one breath. 1,000 moves in one breath. 1,000 moves in one breath. A 1,000 armies move at the beating of your war drums, with a handful of sand to clean the blood from one's armor. What a tremendous victory!